नहीं इलेक्शन में फिर ऐसी कोई चीज़ नहीं होनी चाहिए that influences. 4 days ago has put out an autobiography, Lalu Prasad ji. All these people saying बंद करो इस पिक्चर को. There's no comparison there. A crime is a crime. सब बच्चे हैं. इतनी बड़ी फिल्म कैसे संभालेंगे? How will we achieve this? Is it a documentary? Is it something that talks about every step of his journey? Namaskar, salam, sat sri akal. This is Vivek Oberoi and you're watching Bollywood Hungama. Do subscribe and hit the bell icon.
We have with us very talented Vivek Oberoi. His movie PM Narendra Modi is coming up. We'll talk about that and much more pleasure having you back on Bollywood Hungama.
Thank you, Faridoon. Chatting with you is always like having a conversation with an old friend. It's been a while since we had our last interview.
Yes, we
but
did.
I'm excited about this one.
Would you say that this has been the most difficult film to produce or promote as far as you're concerned?
Not difficult, but challenging. I'd like to use the word challenging. It's been the most challenging film for me as an actor or to produce or forget promote to release. कि बाहर तो आ जाए भाई picture. The kind of opposition that we faced was unprecedented. You're sitting here today and it's a great news for us that finally the Honorable Supreme Court, the apex body of the judiciary of India, has allowed us to release the film and shut down this movement to try and block the film. And it was very intimidating because they have endless resources, right? They have a battery of Supreme Court lawyers, legendary people like Kapil Sibbal ji and Abhishek Manu Singhvi ji. I mean, these guys are legends in the Supreme Court, all going to attack and shut down a simple, humble little film. So I was quite amazed. Also, I had issues with the morality of it. I felt that if you're talking about a fundamental principle saying कि नहीं election में फिर ऐसी कोई चीज़ नहीं होनी चाहिए that influences the opinion of the voter, then your own alliance partner 4 days ago has put out an autobiography, Lalu Prasad ji, which is the same thing. So in principle, then you should be opposing that, but nobody's opposed that. But to our film, we had people like DMK or our very own Raj Thackeray ji from Manse, to the Congress, to Mamta Didi in West Bengal, to you name it. All these people saying, "Band karo is picture ko, dekhne nahi denge," which is pretty saddening.
Compared to a book, I think film is a medium which is far more. It has a far bigger reach than a book, for example.
It depends on the book.
And then
also, it depends on the film.
There's also, I think, a web series on Mr. Modi right now,
Sure.
and there's a television channel that has come up. So maybe because of that, people have those apprehensions that...
I don't know what it's because of, but I disagree with the fact that a film has more reach than a book. It totally depends on the book, and it totally depends on the film. There are some films that nobody watches, and there are some books that are bestsellers and you've sold hundreds of millions of copies.
Right.
So I think books have their reach and films have their reach too. And it's not a matter of how far and how much. It's not saying that, like in law, committing a murder is a crime. No, he killed only one person. No, he killed 100 people. There's no comparison there. A crime is a crime. If it's wrong in principle. So I was saying it's a fundamental conversation. In principle, it shouldn't be done. So I think that you can't strangle democracy. In principle, it's free speech. Yeah? Faridoon should be allowed to say what he wants to. I should be allowed to say what I want to.
So there's another apprehension that I think the movie was announced in January. It is already ready in
record time,
April.
Right?
So it's like we've never experienced that.
Because I know. Neither have I.
So it's like
efficiency, Faridoon. I think it's a compliment.
Amazing efficiency, I must say.
It's a compliment to every single one of my team members. Yeah, and my brother Sandeep Singh, Umang Kumar. These are the guys who made it happen. Incredible team. I mean, I just showed up as an actor. But these are the guys who really made it happen. And a team, incredible team. And it was amazing because when I was introduced to the team first day and Sandeep introduced me, the mean age of the team was less than 23.
Right.
So I said, सब बच्चे हैं, इतनी बड़ी फिल्म कैसे संभालेंगे? How will we achieve this? And he said, सब नए हैं, सब में जोश है, इसीलिए हम ये कर पाएंगे. And it was a new thought. And the most touching thing that I felt was we went through crazy hours. I mean, I was personally working between 18 to 20 hours every day. I barely slept 3 or 4 hours through the entire shoot. We're doing 1.5 shifts or 2 shifts every day, multiple units. Shot in locations where you were in the run of Kutch, where you were only breathing in salt and dust, and you were boiling in 40 degrees heat or 50 degrees heat in there, and no tree to stand under for shade. To the other extreme where you're in Gangotri and you're shooting there in 5 feet of snow and by evening the temperature drops to -20. And despite all these hardships, the most amazing thing is not a single team member quit. Nobody said, I'm going home, yeah, this is too much. And the fun thing is that, these guys are all kids. So it's not that they're all making heavy salaries. They're all working on stipends here. They're all starting out. No? Despite that, the spirit of this team, incredible. An incredible job by Sandeep to be the captain of the ship and run this whole production.
Okay.
And Umang, of course.
All right. So, what has been the biggest takeaway for you as far as this movie is concerned?
Faridoon, I feel that I've done about 45 films. There are many characters that you play and then you move on. But there are some characters that leave an impact on you, a lasting impact, an imprint that kind of stays with you in your own personal journey. This is one of those.
But don't you think that considering that Mr. Modi has such a huge impact all across the world, so there are people who love him like crazy.
Sure.
There are people who are critical of him as well. But the fact is that he has a tremendous reach both in India as well as abroad.
Absolutely.
So don't you think that maybe if a bit more time was spent on research and execution, and even these days people take 6 months for post-production, 2
Sure.
months for promotions, maybe it could have done justice to his persona?
The way I look at it is no film can ever do justice to his persona. I mean, when we looked at making a film on him, there was just so much material that in a film in 2 hours and 9 minutes, how do you do justice to what happened over 5 years in his life? And I have to fit that in 3 minutes of screen time. So the way I look at it is that it's an impossibility. आप कितनी भी research करते जाओ और नए scene निकलते आएंगे. The first cut of the script that we finally put together after about 6-7 months of working on the script, after all the research and everything was done, that film would have been a 6-hour film. So there were so many things that you just had to leave out. And you have to pick one thing. You have to say, okay, what is it? Is it a documentary? Is it something that talks about every step of his journey? Or is it something that has an underlying emotion to it? And we chose the emotion. So instead of making a dry documentary kind of film, an analytical film, we decided to make an inspirational, emotional film. Where for me, the central theme, the idea of the film is how, where you can come from nothing. You can be a small, humble tea seller in a little, 2-horse town. And from there, watching your mom wash vessels in other people's homes and being in that kind of poverty, to have that junoon, that jazba, to do something can take you to become the Prime Minister of this country and a world leader. That's the underlying emotion of PM Narendra Modi. Namaskar, salam, sat sri akal. This is Vivek Oberoi and you're watching Bollywood Hungama. Do subscribe and hit the bell icon.